Hey guys, Andy here. Welcome to today's vlog. I am heading into central London to go to the OnePlus 7T pop-up event. I don't really know what to expect. They say they're going to give some goodies away. I think you get to play with the devices. Hopefully I can do a bit of filming of them. Worst case, I can report back to you my thoughts. Yeah, off we go.
Just like sitting there. One of the tails, some malfunctions, which we're doing all we can to fix it. And once we
So I've just been in, had a look at the 7T and the 7T Pro. Having queued, it was about an hour and 14 minutes, I think. It's a lot much longer than I was expecting to, and to be honest, if I'd known that when I started queuing, I'd probably have just gone home again. Thankfully, when I got quite near the front, I was saying to the guy, I realised the queue's basically for the checkouts, and I wasn't buying at this point. I was kind of tempted by a 7T, to be honest, but I thought probably not worthwhile over my 7 Pro. So when I said I wasn't buying, I just wanted to have a look. He said, oh, you can go in and just start playing with them. Which makes me wonder if I could have done that right from the beginning. But anyway, had a bit of a play with them. I guess generally my impressions are they're not that different to the 7. Well, the 7T is quite an upgrade on the regular 7, but the 7T Pro seems, I mean, I wouldn't, if someone handed me the Pro instead of the 7T Pro instead of my 7 Pro, I wouldn't have known. Anyway, it's not the best situation, the best place to be standing talking about phones, so I'm going to head home and we'll talk a little bit about specs and about the devices from there. So here we are, back indoors, back in the dry. I feel a bit easier that I can talk to you now. I'd love to have done, I wish I had the confidence that I could just wander out inside the event or in the queue, because I realised I didn't really talk much while I was in the queue. I could have talked about the specs and the differences then. But I don't know, you just feel a bit of a douche outdoors filming to a camera. Even when I did that last little bit, I could see people walking by going, what's he doing? And it's, in this day and age, but I guess everyone's a YouTuber these days, and I guess there's maybe a bit of a stigma attached to, I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Let's move on to move on to business. So I guess what I'll do, I'll go through briefly. I'm not going to talk about all the specs, but I'll go through briefly some of the differences between the 7 and the 7 Pro and the 7T and the 7T Pro. First one being the chipset. So the 7 and the Pro were 855, the 855 chipset. The 7T and the 7T Pro are both the 855 Plus. Now, what that means is about 5% increase on the CPU and about 15% increase on the GPU. So basically, there's slightly higher clock speeds on the chips in the chipset. RAM-wise, the T versions don't have a 6 gig version anymore. It's 8 gig is the minimum, which I think is probably a good thing. People moan that the Pixels have 4 gigs in the past. So 6 gig is, I think it's enough, but actually, you just get rid of it. Just go to 8 gig. The cameras are now all very similar. So the 7 to the 7T is the biggest change, because the 7 just had dual cameras, and now the 7T basically has the same cameras that all the others do, so they have a triple camera setup. The 7T, for some reason, has it in a weird circular configuration on the back, which makes me think of the sort of Moto G series phones or Motorola phones. It's a little odd. I do prefer the inline configuration that you get on the Pro models. I've heard and read there is some sort of slight tweaks with the cameras and camera software. That does mean you get a slightly better picture in the T versions, but I don't think it's particularly much. All the batteries got a slight tweak. We're talking 100 milliamp hours or less from each, the 7 to the 7T and the 7 Pro to the 7T Pro. So not a massive change there, but they do have 30T or warp charge 30T instead of warp charge 30. OnePlus claim about 23% increase. Again, I've read online kind of 12% to 20% perhaps increase in charging speed. Not a massive thing for me, I wouldn't say, to be honest. Software-wise, the 7Ts get Android 10 out of the box and OnePlus's skin of Android 10, which is pretty stock feeling. That's one of the things I do like one of the reasons I like OnePlus phones. Colors, the OnePlus 7T comes in a frosted silver and a glacier blue. The 7T Pro is only available in Haze Blue, which is kind of a lighter color than the I forgot what my blue was called. Was mine the glacier blue from that blue, whatever that was? And I do think they're beautiful looking phones, so I really do like the look of the devices. So all in all, kind of my experience from the pop-up event, it wasn't good really. I stood outside in the wet for an hour and 40 minutes, and when I got close enough that I could see the queue carried on indoors, I said to the guy in there, "Oh, how far does the queue go?" And I said, "Is it just for people buying the phones?" Well, yeah, basically. I said, "I don't want to buy a phone. I just want to have a play with them." He says, "Oh, just go in and they're on stands in there." So in I went, and I can't help but think I could probably have done that when I first arrived. Now, there's two things that annoy me that OnePlus could have done a lot better. I get the guy on the door. He's probably just a security guy. He didn't really know much about what's going on. But I did say to him, I was asking him at the start, letting people in batches, in waves. Is it a matter of when people come out, new people go in? Because I'm thinking it's just as much about playing with the devices and seeing them as it is buying them. Clearly, OnePlus thing is just about buying them. And he didn't really, I guess he didn't really understand what I was asking, perhaps because he's thinking, and if he just said the queue is just for people buying the phones, I'd have said, "Oh, well, can I just nip in and have a play with them?" So, bit of a missed opportunity there, but I get that's not really OnePlus's fault. But then OnePlus, they came out, they sort of plied us with, well, they were offering coffee. I didn't have it because I go decaf, and I don't think I wasn't that bothering. Coffee, some people got like bags of nuts, only a few at the front. They gave us ponchos very early on. That was good of them, at least. But one of the guys came out to apologise. The tills were playing up, John Lewis tills, and that was causing a delay. And I said, "What about those that don't want to buy a device?" He said something along the lines of, "Well, we've got to give priority to the people that are buying phones." Well, that's fine, but I wouldn't have slowed that down. If they'd let me in to play with the bleeding phones, that wouldn't have slowed anything down at all. And And again, you might be saying, well, Andy, you should know this is about people getting in there to buy them before they go on regular release. But I don't know. I've never been to a pop-up event before. And I tweeted OnePlus and I wrote on their Facebook event about this event saying, I just want to come in to film the devices. Is that okay? I didn't get a reply from either of them. So quite honestly, I think a little bit less of OnePlus now than I did when the day started. Feel free to call me an idiot in the comments. Don't get too carried away, please. But for me, it was a bit annoying. I mean, it's 4 hours of my day to basically play with my own phone, is what it felt like. And that's kind of the bottom line. If you've got a 7 or a 7 Pro, well, if you've got a 7 Pro, like me, I had no urge. I wasn't playing with the 7T Pro thinking, I need to upgrade to this. If I had the 7 and I was playing with the 7T, maybe. But at the same time, probably not. If you're going back to the 6T or something like that, then it's probably a worthwhile upgrade. And to be fair, if you're looking at the two devices, the 7T is probably the one to go for over the Pro. That should be retailing at $550. The Pro will be $700. And actually, there's a lot of people that I've read online or I've watched in videos where they say, I want the 7T because I want the flat screen. I don't think I've ever seen anyone say, I want the curved screen. I've had people say to me that my screen looks amazing. One other person said it. But it's just interesting that general consensus is the flat screen is better. So why do they go for the curved screens, all these big companies? I don't know. If you know, let me know in the comments because I don't get it. So there we go. Hopefully you've enjoyed that video. Please do hit that like button. Click the bell so you know when there's new content available. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe. I'll put a little linky thing up there. You might want to check out other videos on my channel, which I'll try to put there. And do leave a comment. I do read them all and reply where necessary. But for now, my name's Andy, and I'll catch you all again soon.